When most people think of electronic music, they probably think of about 2 of the hundreds of subgenres that there are within electronic. They either think of dubstep,
Activate radio contact with the outside.
or they think of big room house. As you can see by this lovely chart that took me a whopping 2 hours to make and research, there are many more genres than dubstep and big room house in the electronic main genre. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the origins of electronic music and how many different things there are and can be. So for all intents and purposes, I'm going to start with the 2 main genres being world music and folk music. Folk music being that of the US and world music being that of the not the US. Now, we're going to take the most direct route to electronic music, which will leave out some of the other things, but that's okay. I'm just going to ignore that. I believe that jazz music is the first step towards electronic music. I believe jazz music originates from a world standpoint rather than a United States standpoint because of the African American influence it had. From jazz, I believe, came blues, which then derived into rock and roll and R&B and soul. I'm going to ignore rock and roll for now and focus on R&B and soul. From R&B and soul gets derived disco and hip-hop. From disco, we finally reach electronic music. Some later disco music, in fact, is electronic music, but for all intents and purposes, the beginning of disco was not entirely electronic. After the hip-hop genre spawns the subgenre rap, which then takes from electronic music in order to create the subgenre of garage. Now, garage is the beginnings of the 4-to-the-floor beat, which encompasses about half of electronic music. Now, garage descends directly into house music. Now, house music is more like a descriptor for other genres, such as trance and Chicago house. Chicago house was a movement that began in, Chicago, obviously, and quickly moved elsewhere, which made the genre change names into such genres as deep house, tech house, garage house, and acid. Acid is quite a bit of a jump, name-wise. Following one of the subgenres of Chicago house, deep house, we then reach about, 3 more subgenres? Techno, future house, and big room house. Let's follow big room house because, that's the cliche thing everyone thinks EDM is. Big room house itself is actually an overarching genre to several more subgenres. Big room house descends into bounce, Dutch house, and tropical house. Now, both Dutch house and bounce each have their own subgenres. Bounce's subgenre being Melbourne bounce, and Dutch house's subgenre being festival house. As you can see from the chart, both bounce and Dutch house both took roots from another subgenre, electro. As you can see, electro is both a subgenre of acid, as we mentioned earlier with Chicago house, and trance, which was actually a subgenre of the original house music. From electro, other than bounce and Dutch house, we get the genres electro house, complextro, and electro swing. Electro swing takes roots from the original swing movement that was, back way when with jazz. Very long ago, very swingy, very fun. Electro swing takes both electro beats and the swing samples and then puts it into something new. From electro swing, we then get the more modern dance pop. Now, dance pop was definitely becoming popular as of the summer of, 2017, maybe 2016, and has since kind of died down, not really, I don't know. As you can see, dance pop also has roots in the genre new disco, which I am yet to mention. Here we go, time to talk about new disco. New disco originates from the genre French touch, which is a combination of world music, I'll give you a hint, it's from France, and disco. French Touch is basically Daft Punk, who is a French band and is known for Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, and Get Lucky, but I'm going to play a different song right now that is neither of those, but is French Touch.
One more time.
French Touch, other than going into new disco, descends into French House and Future Funk. French House obviously takes roots from Chicago House, since it has the word house in it. Future Funk takes roots from funk, because it has the word funk in it. But that's not in the chart, because this chart's already too confusing. Alright, now that I've told you about new disco, let's go all the way down to electro house. As you can see, electro house takes roots from trance, which I have yet to talk about. Let's go talk about trance now, and ignore electro house for 2 seconds. After house music became Chicago house and trance took a completely different path. As I said earlier, house music was about 120 BPM to 130 BPM. Trance pushed that up to about 140 BPM, maybe 150. That was crazy. Trance then basically went 2 routes, progressive house and Euro trance. Progressive house obviously taking roots from house music, and some of the melodies from trance that made it more uplifting and slower. Euro trance now took obviously roots from world, because Euro is not from America.
Let's go.
Euro trance then descended into something called Euro house, which did take roots from house, because it has the word house in it. Eurohouse then took some acid and became Eurobeat. Now let's get back to the direct descendants of Eurohouse, Hands Up. Hands Up is basically pushing the BPM higher and higher. Hands Up is about 150 BPM, 160 BPM, whereas Eurohouse and Eurotrance were about 140, 150. From Hands Up, we go to Gabber. Gabber is insanely fast. I'm kidding, it's not. Gabber is about the same BPM, about 160, 170 BPM, but it descends into 2 main hard genres, hard dance and hard style. Hard style is known for its very gritty kicks. And from hard style's lovely distorted kicks comes the 200 plus BPM pushing speedcore genre. The speedcore genre also takes roots from the hard dance descendant hardcore music, and speedcore is basically just seeing how fast things can get while making people's ears bleed.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black?
From speedcore descends the even worse genre, poopcore. As its name may imply, it sounds like shit. Poopcore is a relatively new genre and takes samples from old YouTube videos and basically just adds it to speedcore, which makes it even worse. Time to go back to hardcore, because I don't want to go any more speedcores. Hardcore then descends into 2 other genres, happy hardcore and hard trance. Happy hardcore is basically just really happy fast music. Hard trance is basically just trance, but faster. Hard trance then descends into psytrance, which basically sounds the same, but it's a little bit more psy. Not like the Korean pop star, but more like psychedelic. Okay, that was almost all of trance. Another thing trance has a really quick influence in is the genre dream pop, which takes influence from the genre Chillout, which we have yet to get to. Oh boy. Now, to get to Chillout, we're gonna have to take the dubstep route of electronic music, so get ready! Okay, so the beginnings of dubstep comes from garage, which is the same place that house music, trance, and Chicago house came from. So these all come from basically the same thing. Garage gets a UK influence, becomes UK garage. UK garage then gets mixed with the genre drum and bass, which is basically electronic rock and roll, and becomes breakbeat / two-step garage. The breakbeat two-step garage gets mixed with Chicago house to get garage house, which I've mentioned earlier. Breakbeat two-step also becomes breaks and industrial music. Industrial music taking some roots in metal, but not really, more just like harder drum patterns. Industrial music, we then reach dubstep. Yay, dubstep! Dubstep is also an influencer in the genre breaks, which directly descended from breakbeat. Now, as you can see, dubstep goes off in about 6 or 7 different directions and forms different subgenres. Let's take the first and easiest route. Dubstep mixes with the techno genre from house music and becomes bass house. Witch house slightly has roots in electro house as well, but not as much as it does in dubstep or metal. Going down the more modern side of dubstep, we get the genre bro step, rhythm, and X step.
Try not to headbang.
These are all the genres that you hear when people basically are saying EDM is terrible. The other genres that you hear when people say EDM is terrible are the lovely genre metal step, which takes influences from metal, hybrid, which takes influences from both metal step and trap, trap being a bass-heavy, less screechy sound version of dubstep. Hybrid then descends into the two subgenres vomit step and kitchen step. Those sound like they take serious skill to make. Now, I promised that we were going to get to the chill-out, down-tempo genre, eventually, by going through the dubstep route. Don't worry, your ears won't bleed down this way. Dubstep then mixes with the other electronics genre, ambient, to create the genre chill step. Chill step, taking another route, goes into melodic dubstep.
All I've ever known.
And then melodic dubstep takes influences from trap to create future bass. Future bass is basically the genre you heard all of winter 2016 and summer 2017. Baby Pull Me Closer, no. Anyways, going the other direction from chill step, we finally reach chill out. Chill out takes roots from house, which makes it a little bit more danceable, but still chill enough for you to fall asleep to. Chill out, as you can see, then goes into about 4 or 5 different genres. Chill out takes more influences from house and becomes mid-tempo music, which has about 2 different varieties. The first of which sounds like a robot made it, and the second version takes influences from electro to make it sound more upbeat. Chill out then evolves into chill garage, which takes roots from breaks in order to create something like this masterpiece. Chill garage then gets an upgrade to drum and bass and becomes liquid drum and bass, which is even more chill and less garage. Taking the other side of chill out then evolves into the genre IDM, which is basically like house music. It describes a lot of different things. IDM then evolves into the genre trip hop. Trip hop then becomes instrumental hip hop. And instrumental hip hop becomes lo-fi hip hop. Lots of hips and hops in there. The other route IDM takes is the glitch genre. Glitch first takes the glitch hop route, and from glitch hop becomes moombahton, and moombahton, taking elements from dubstep and electro house, becomes moombacore, which then becomes jungle, which then takes influences from house and becomes jungle house. The other subgenre glitch becomes is Nero. Nero then takes elements from drum and bass and becomes Nero step. Nero mashes with glitch hop to become Nero hop, which then mashes with funk to become Nero funk. As you can tell, I've skipped a few genres because that'd be longer than 5 minutes. This video is already longer than 5 minutes, but you know, it's close enough.